The MLB draft is different than every other league. The best player doesn't always go number one, whether that's because of money, ability to sign the players, or sometimes they just straight up don't want to play for that organization. We see some interesting number one overall picks. So in today's video, I'm going to be going back through the last 20 MLB drafts and redrafting the number one overall pick every single year based on who I think was the best. If you guys want to see more of this kind of content on the channel, make sure to drop a like. That's the best way to show your support, as well as subscribe to the channel. Over 50% of you that watch this video are not subscribed. Click that red sub button so you don't miss out on any of these videos coming at you. So let's get it started 20 years ago, back with the 2004 draft. With the number one overall pick in the 2004 MLB draft, the San Diego Padres went with Matt Bush, a shortstop out of high school in California. You might remember Matt Bush because he was one of the biggest busts of all time and ended up becoming a pretty good reliever in Major League Baseball towards the end of his career. But if we were redrafting, of course, the number one overall pick is going to be Justin Verlander, who originally went number two overall to the Detroit Tigers. So not too far off. I mean, Verlander is simply one of the best pitchers to ever play in Major League Baseball. He's currently 11th on the all-time leaderboard in strikeouts in Major League Baseball history. Verlander has won an MVP. He's a three-time Cy Young Award winner, Rookie of the Year, pitching Triple Crown, 9-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, has won the ERA title twice, pitched over 3,000 innings, has a 3.25 ERA, a whip at 1.12, striking out nearly 3,400 batters in his career, 260 wins. I mean, this guy is the cream of the crop, one of the best pitchers to ever do it, and would clearly be the new number one overall pick. For the 2005 MLB draft, the Arizona Diamondbacks had the number one pick and selected Justin Upton. Not a bad pick. Justin Upton had a great career, but there are two guys that were slightly better, and it's between Ryan Braun, who went number 5 overall to the Milwaukee Brewers, and Andrew McCutchen, who went number 11. This one's really tough. I'm going to end up going with Ryan Braun, and here's why. Similar to McCutchen, Ryan Braun won an MVP back in 2011, and his peak was pretty incredible. From 2007 until 2012, Ryan Braun was averaging 34 homers, 37 doubles, and 107 RBIs with 21 stolen bases a year, a 313 average, 374 on base, 568 slugging, and a 943 OPS. That's pretty disgusting. He made 6 All-Star teams, won the Rookie of the Year. He was a 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner. Yes, he has the steroids. That is the biggest smudge on his entire career. But in terms of production, stats, and numbers, I think I would go with Ryan Braun over Andrew McCutchen, and it's just ever so slightly. McCutchen had a better overall career. Ryan Braun's peaks were just unbelievable. Next up, we have the 2006 MLB draft, and at number one overall, the Royals went with Luke Hochevar. Hochevar had an okay Major League career, threw just under 1,000 innings, but never was that real number one pick hype. Instead, we have another difficult choice between two future Hall of Famers, Clayton Kershaw at number 7 with the Dodgers, or Max Scherzer, who went 11th with the Diamondbacks. Again, two of the greatest pitchers we've ever seen, but I think you got to go with Clayton Kershaw. It feels like we might be underappreciating what could be one of the greatest lefty pitchers to ever play the game of baseball because of the injuries and lack of innings the last few years. Kershaw has won an MVP, a 3-time Cy Young Award winner, pitching Triple Crown, 10-time All-Star, World Series champion, 5-time ERA title award winner. He had a stretch from 2011 to 2017 where he averaged 207 innings a year with a 2.1 ERA and a whip at .913. In that same time period, the lowest Clayton Kershaw ever finished in the Cy Young was 5th. 2,700 innings, nearly 3,000 strikeouts for his career, a career ERA of 2.49, which is the lowest among active players. He has a whip at 1.007 for his career. Clayton Kershaw is disgusting. He's the number one overall pick in 06. The 2007 draft, honestly, didn't miss. David Price at number 1 was a fantastic choice, but there's a player that's slightly better, and that's going to be Freddie Freeman, who went in the second round, 78th overall to the Atlanta Braves originally. Again, this is no knock on David Price, but Freddie Freeman, MVP, 8-time All-Star, World Series Award winner, Gold Glove Award winner, 3-time Silver Slugger. He's just been one of the more consistently good players that we've seen in quite some time. Freddie Freeman's casually played 14, 15 seasons in Major League Baseball already, 337 home runs, 1,200 RBIs, nearly just over 2,200 hits, a career slash line of 301 average, 388 on base, 513 slugging, and a 902 OPS. He is one of the best first basemen that we have seen in our lifetime. Consistent stud at the plate, always hitting 300, put up 59 doubles last year at age 33. He has a career average of almost 30 homers, 40 doubles, and 100 RBIs a year for 15 straight seasons. Freddie Freeman's the pick. In the 2008 MLB draft, we got a major miss. The Tampa Bay Rays at number 1 went with Tim Beckham, who was just a bust for lack of better terms. Instead, they should have gone with the number 5 overall pick by the San Francisco Giants, Buster Posey. Future Hall of Famer, Buster Posey, no-brainer if you're doing the redraft. Won an MVP, Rookie of the Year, 7-time All-Star, 3-time World Series champion, 5-time Silver Slugger Award winner, a batting title, and a Gold Glove. One of the best catchers we've seen in this generation. While his career did not last as long as some other players because he just decided to retire early, and he did have that broken leg issue, Posey put up just astounding numbers at the catcher position. During Buster Posey's prime, you're looking at a catcher who was playing 120 games a year, giving you 20 plus homers, 30 doubles, 80 80, 90 RBIs every single season with a slash line of 309, 377, 475, and 853 for an OPS plus at 136. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. He's one of the best catchers that we have seen. Wish we could have seen more of Buster Posey because he really was that special. But if you're doing the redraft, he's the clear and obvious pick at number 1. The 2009 MLB draft was one of the most hyped. Steven Strasburg going number 1 to the Washington Nationals, clear best pitcher in college out of San Diego State. But he would not be the number 1 overall pick if we were to do a redraft because, of course, we would go with Mike Trout, who went number 25 overall to the Los Angeles Angels. Looking back on Mike Trout's career, it is pretty insane that he wasn't the clear and obvious number 1 overall choice based on how he's played. Of course, injuries have decimated him since the COVID year, has not played a lot. But from 2012 to 2019, Mike Trout was averaging 35 homers, 30 doubles, 92 RBIs with 24 stolen bases a year, a 308 average, 422 on base, 587 slugging, and an OPS over 1,000 for an OPS plus at 178. Trout has won 3 MVP awards, a Rookie of the Year, 11-time All-Star, 9-time Silver Slugger Award winner. For the first 9 seasons of his career, the lowest he ever finished the MVP was 5th. And if it weren't due to injury, we'd be talking even more about Mike Trout being the greatest player to maybe ever play the game. Injuries have killed him, it's slowed him down, and I absolutely hate to see it, but yeah, he's the obvious number 1 pick if you're going back to 09. Finally into the 2010s, and it was a big draft again, very hyped up. At number 1 overall, the Washington Nationals went with Bryce Harper, and you would take Bryce Harper number 1 overall again. This is the first draft of the video where we are not making a change, because Bryce Harper, I mean, this is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. 2-time MVP, Rookie of the Year, 8-time All-Star, 3-time Silver Slugger Award winner. The only thing that's really missing from Bryce Harper's resume is a World Series, but you look at the production that he's been able to put up over his 13-year career, which is also insane. He's played 13 years. He's giving you a 162 game average of 33 homers, 35 doubles, 97 RBIs with 14 stolen bases, hitting 281 with a 389 on base, 523 slugging, and a 912 OPS. He's just unbelievably good. The Phillies made an amazing move paying him all that money. The Washington Nationals made an amazing move making him the number 1 overall pick. You would change nothing about this draft. Harper goes 1 again. Machado was a close second, though. Next up for the 2011 MLB draft, Garrett Cole went number 1 overall to the Pittsburgh Pirates, and that's a great pick. Hard to beat. You might pick Francisco Lindor, who went number 8 overall to the Cleveland Indians at the time, but the real number 1 overall pick came in the 5th round at pick number 172 by the Boston Red Sox, and that's going to be Mookie Betts. Betts was an undersized middle infielder at the time, so it makes sense that he dropped to the 5th round. But if we were doing the redraft, I mean, you're taking this guy 1-1 every single time. MVP award, 8-time All-Star, 2-time World Series champion, 6-time Gold Glove Award winner, 6-time Silver Slugger Award winner. He's won a batting title. He's won the Defensive Player of the Year award given out by Wilson. And ever since he started playing every single day, he's been a perennial All-Star, one of the best players in the entire league. And somehow he's still getting even better. Since his call-up, Mookie Betts is averaging 26 homers, 35 doubles, 78 RBIs a year with a 295 average, 375 on base, 527 slugging, and a 903 OPS, along with elite defense. And oh yeah, he's playing shortstop now too, after being a Gold Glove right fielder. The versatility, the talent, the skill, it's unmatched by Mookie Betts. Loaded draft class, but he's the new number 1 overall pick. I genuinely don't know what to do for the 2012 MLB draft. Number 1 overall pick that year was Carlos Correa by the Houston Astros, but I think the number 18 overall pick, Corey Seager by the Dodgers, has a legitimate case to maybe be the new number 1. If you compare the two players, Carlos Correa leads in stats like WAR, hits, games played, RBIs, and stolen bases. But for Corey Seager, he has 6 more home runs in about 90 less games played, a higher average, a higher on base, higher slugging, higher OPS plus. Now, Correa is definitely the better fielder at the shortstop position. Won a Gold Glove, won a Platinum Glove. He's disgusting at short. But Corey Seager is the clear and obvious better hitter, so it depends what you want to value. I don't think there's a wrong decision here. Carlos Correa, number 1, clearly was pretty awesome, and Corey Seager would have been a really good pick as well. I'm going to stick with Carlos Correa, and the only reason being is that it worked out for the Astros. Won a World Series with this guy. He's been one of the best shortstops in baseball. I don't think we have to rechange history and put Corey Seager up to number 1. It's worked out pretty well for Correa. Now, as for the 2013 draft, yeah, we're going to be redrafting this one. The Astros botched it, took Mark Appel number 1, and that clearly never worked out. Instead, the new number 1 overall pick, if we were redrafting, would be the 32nd overall pick by the New York Yankees, Aaron Judge. Honestly, it's pretty incredible how good Aaron Judge is. Like, the numbers that he's even put up this year, it's not even September yet. 41 homers, 103 RBIs with an 1157 OPS. Like, I mean, come on. That's disgusting. And basically, since he's gotten everyday playing time back in 2017, it's hard to find a better player in baseball than Aaron Judge, not named Shohei Ohtani, when he's pitching. If you look at Aaron Judge's 162 game average, he's a guy who's averaging 51 homers, 116 RBIs, and a career OPS over 1,000, and on base at 403. He's a phenomenal outfielder too. There's nothing wrong with Aaron Judge's game. He is simply the best player in Major League Baseball right now. And if you pick anyone but him at number 1 overall in 2013 on a redraft, yeah, you are losing your mind. So incredibly good. MVP MVP, Rookie of the Year, 6-time All-Star, Home Run Derby champion, 3-time Silver Slugger Award winner. All rise, Judge's number 1 overall, which would be funny. Imagine Judge was an Astro. Oh my gosh. What's crazy is the Astros then had the number 1 overall pick in 2014 as well and botched it again, taking Brady Aiken. He didn't end up signing, so we clearly have to redraft number 1 here. And I think we're going to end up going with Trey Turner, who went number 13 overall to the San Diego Padres. Turner's really had a fantastic major league career thus far. He came up in 2016 with the Nationals, finished second in the Rookie of the Year that season, and from then on, he's been a pretty electric player. Now, he has taken a step forward pretty much since the COVID season, made some adjustments to his swing, hitting for more power now, and this is a guy who, with a 162-game average, is 25 homers, 36 doubles, 82 RBIs with 40 stolen bases, hitting 297 with a 350 on base, 483 slugging, and an 834 OPS for an OPS plus at 122. He's not maybe the level of some of the players previously mentioned. Not every draft can have a future first ballot Hall of Famer, no doubt, but Trey Turner has been a phenomenal player in Major League Baseball, accumulated 35.5 WAR in his career thus far, 3-time All-Star, World Series champion in 2019, Silver Slugger, batting title champion, really good overall player. For the 2015 MLB draft, Dansby Swanson went number 1 overall to the Atlanta Braves out of Vanderbilt, but he would not be the number 1 overall pick again. Instead, we're going to go with Kyle Tucker, who went number 5 overall to the Houston Astros that year. Kyle Tucker is sneaky one of the better players in Major League Baseball, and prior to the injury this year, he was having an MVP caliber year. From 2021 to 2023, Kyle Tucker has been putting up some crazy numbers, averaging 30 homers, 34 doubles, and 104 RBIs with 23 stolen bases a year, a 278 average, 353 on base, 517 slugging, and an 870 OPS for an OPS plus at 140. Lock him in for 30, 30, 30, and 100 every single year out in right field for the Houston Astros. The injury really slowed him down this year. That's a shame, but he would be the clear and obvious number 1 overall pick if we were doing 2015 over again. As for the 2016 MLB draft, a massive bust taken at number 1 with Mickey Moniak of the Philadelphia Phillies. So we got to do some digging. And upon further review, we have to go all the way back to the 4th round of that draft, a pitcher out of St. Mary's College in California. That's going to be Corbin Burnes. Now, Corbin Burnes has maybe not accumulated some of the numbers of these previous players, but since he became a regular starter back in the COVID season in 2020, he's been one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball. Since 2020, Corbin Burnes has a 2.82 ERA, a whip at 1.008. He's given you close to 200 innings every single year. He's won a Cy Young Award. The lowest he's finished since 2020 is 8th in the Cy Young last year in 2023. He's a 4-time All-Star, won the ERA title as well, and he looks like he might be on his way to possibly another Cy Young Award this year with the Baltimore Orioles. While it's only been 5 years, I do think Corbin Burnes would be the number 1 overall pick if we were to redraft 2016. Moving on to the 2017 MLB draft, number 1 overall that year was Royce Lewis by the Minnesota Twins, and it's definitely not a bad pick. He's just been bit by the injury bug, and that's made it tough, but that's part of why we do this. Knowing the injury history, he might not go number 1 again. Instead, I actually think it would be the player selected right after him, number 2 overall, Hunter Greene by the Cincinnati Reds. I don't know if you guys have seen what Hunter Greene is doing this year, but he has been absolutely disgusting on the mound for the Reds. 130 innings pitched thus far this year, a 2.83 ERA, a whip at 1.02, both career lows by a wide margin. He made the All-Star team. He's got a K rate approaching 30% with a walk rate under 10%, which is good for Hunter Greene, who does struggle at times with control. And he just turned 25 years old. This is a future Cy Young in the making, possibly. Royce Lewis is a future MVP in the making if he can ever stay healthy. It's a tough pick, but I'm going to end up going with Hunter Greene just based on the fact that he's been able to be on the field a little more consistently than Royce Lewis and guys that have crazy high ceilings. For the 2018 MLB draft, the Detroit Tigers were up at number 1, and they ended up taking the best pitcher out of college, Casey Mize, number 1. Casey Mize has struggled with injury and struggled with performance, so we're not going to pick him again at number 1. Instead, we're actually going to go to the 9th round and take who the Tigers took at number 255. That's going to be Tarek Skubal. It would be hard not to take what is one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball this year. Skubal struggled with injuries early on in his career and still has never really had a fully healthy season just yet, but the last 2 years, Skubal has been disgusting for the Tigers. Over his last 216 innings over the last 2 seasons, a 2.66 ERA, a whip under 1 at .928. He's got a K rate over 30%, a walk rate under 5. He's going to be the clear favorite as of right now to win the American League Cy Young Award if the season were to end today, and he genuinely is one of the best pitchers in baseball. This year, a 2.57 ERA, striking out the most batters in the league, a whip under 1, 12 wins on a bad Detroit Tigers team. Skubal would be the new number 1 overall pick. The 2019 draft is actually insane. Adley Rutschman went number 1, and somehow that's still not the right pick. You might even consider picking his teammate at number 42, Gunnar Henderson. But the number 2 overall pick that year, I think, has to be the new number 1. That's going to be Bobby Witt Jr. of the Kansas City Royals. I don't know if you guys are really hip to how good Bobby Witt Jr. is, but he is also one of the 3, maybe 4 best players in the entire league. Last season, finished 7th in the MVP voting, made a real step forward with his defense. This year continues to be phenomenal defensively and somehow has been even better at the plate. 20 homers, 31 doubles, 10 triples, triples, 79 RBIs, and 25 stolen bases in 113 games thus far. He's hitting .344 with a .390 on base, .590 slugging, and a .980 OPS. He's accumulated over 7 WAR already, and it's not even September. He is having a legendarily good year, Bobby Witt. And as good as Adley and as good as Gunnar Henderson are, this dude is just simply one of the 3, maybe 4 best players in the league. If it wasn't for Aaron Judge, he'd be the clear AL MVP this year. He's playing out of his mind, incredibly talented, only 24 years old. It was a tough pick, but I'm going with Bobby Witt at number 1. The COVID draft, we only had 5 rounds that year, and of course, going number 1 overall to the Detroit Tigers was Spencer Torkelson. Hasn't turned out well for the Tigers and Torque just yet. Instead, when we do the redraft, we have to go all the way to the 4th round, pick number 126 by the Atlanta Braves out of Clemson, Spencer Strider. Strider, of course, not pitching this year due to injury, only through 9 innings, but the last couple seasons, he's been one of the best pitchers, if not the best, in all of Major League Baseball. Strider has a 3.36 ERA over the last 2 years, which sounds a little bit higher than it really should be because his FIP fielder independent pitching is 2.43. A whip right around 1 for Spencer Strider, striking out nearly 37% of the batters he's facing, walking under 9%, which is just disgusting. The stuff is electric. He's phenomenal on the mound. When he comes back healthy for the Braves, it's going to be massive because he's simply one of the best pitchers in the league and a guy who's going to win a Cy Young Award at some point in his career. For the 2021 draft, we saw Henry Davis go number 1 overall to the Pittsburgh Pirates because of money. That's where the MLB draft gets weird. Instead, we have 3 options to pick. 2 of them are major leaguers, 1 of them is an all-star, and 1 of them is a top prospect. So it's between Colton Cowser at number 5 from the Orioles, Marcelo Meyer at number 4 from the Red Sox, and Jackson Merrill at number 27 by the Padres. While Jackson Merrill did make the all-star team this year, I do think Colton Cowser is actually having a better season out in Baltimore. He just didn't make the all-star team. So I'm going to take Jackson Merrill off the list. And while Colton Cowser has been really good for the Baltimore Orioles, 16 homers, 16 doubles, 49 RBIs with a 795 OPS and OPS plus at 127, I think I'm actually going to have to go with Marcelo Meyer here. Marcelo Meyer was considered to be the most talented player in this draft, and the Red Sox got lucky, he fell all the way to 4. Since Meyer has been a prospect, he's been getting comps to Corey Seager, and I totally see it with his build and swing. And if you look at what he's been able to do in the minor leagues at AA this year, it's been pretty disgusting. 8 homers, 28 doubles, 38 RBIs with 13 stolen bases, hitting .307 with a .370 on base, .480 slugging, and an .850 OPS. Call me crazy for taking the guy who's in the minor leagues rather than the guy who's at the major league level right now and performing, but Marcelo Meyer has that opportunity to be a franchise shortstop where I don't know truly what the ceiling is of Colton Cowser, so I'm going to go off the ceiling and take Marcelo Meyer number 1 in the 2021 MLB draft. As for the 2022 MLB draft, we're keeping it the same at number 1. We're going with Jackson Holliday. Number 1 prospect in Major League Baseball, dominated throughout the minors, and since he's been called back up to the majors, he's looked really good. He's also only 20 years old. He's incredibly talented. No reason to read out the major league numbers yet because they're just not particularly good in the small sample, but at the minor league level, he had a career average of .304 with a .443 on base, .928 OPS. A guy who's going to hit probably 15 to 20 homers a year, get on base, play good defense at second base or shortstop, wherever they end up sticking with him, probably second base. He's just overall a really good player. Again, it's really hard to tell with these more recent draft classes because we just haven't seen a lot, but Jackson Holliday, you'd be pretty good to take him again at number 1 overall. And then for the last draft class in today's video, we have the 2023 MLB draft. And yeah, we're taking the big fella named Paul Skenes. Paul Skenes might just be the best pitcher in baseball right now. Yeah, I've seen him pitch 86 innings, and I'm ready to say he is the best pitcher in the league. A 1.99 ERA, a whip under 1 at .942. The FIP is also still really good at 2.69. He's striking out 32% of the batters he's facing, walking under 6% at 5.7. The fastball, the splinter, the slider, everything that Paul Skenes does is electric. And I just don't see a world where if you don't think he's the best pitcher in baseball, you at least think he's inside the top 5. And there is nobody from that draft class who's come even close yet to dethroning Paul Skenes as a number 1 overall pick. The guy's up already and making the Pirates a playoff contender. That's how good Paul Skenes is. Shout out Livy Dunn. We're repeating, putting Paul Skenes back at number 1. So there it is. I went back the last 20 years and redrafted the number 1 overall pick in the MLB draft based on who I think was the best. I'd love to know what you guys are thinking down in the comment section below. Did I make a wrong decision? Drop a like on the video if you did enjoy it, as well as subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on any of the content coming at you. You guys know the drill from here on out. I appreciate you watching. YouTube recommends you watch this video. It must be good. It's you being recommended to you, as well as this is my most recent upload. Click through that if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys, and I'll see you all on the next video. Bye.